Hello, just a fair warning, I'm recording this on a very little to no sleep. Currently resetting my sleeping pattern after finishing work very late over the Christmas period. And so I'll be staying up late today just to try and make sure that I can reset my sleeping pattern back to normal. So there we go. I thought I'd come on and do a video, because I haven't done one in a while, and I'm planning on basically rejigging the channel. Essentially, I'm going to be putting a lot more time into it, because as work has gone on over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months really, I've had next to no time to do it, but now time is freeing up again. And yeah, I want to throw some more time into this before I start training later on in the year to be a teacher, so there you go. So, Chapter Approved just came out. Well, it came out like last month. And I did a video beforehand stating what I think would have been really good for GW to do with Grey Knights in the prevailing month since. One big thing I said was that it'd be great to have a points decrease across the board, a huge points decrease. Either that or most of the Grey Knight units should be buffed to high hell. I also said that they should be allowed to deep strike, and not only to do that, they should be allowed to all deep strike if they want, because that's what their army does in the lore, that's what they do. And also they should be able to smite as normal, just like Thousand Suns can. And, you know, I was hopeful. I was hoping that things would go well. I was hoping that we'd get what we wanted. And, well, no, we didn't get anything that we wanted, to be unfair. But the one thing that we did get was a very small points decrease across the board for Grey Knights. That's it. That's literally all we got. All we got was a small points decrease across the board, which for me is too little. I'm sorry, but looking at 140,000 the way it is now, I will only be playing this edition at the moment with very close friends who understand that, you know, Grey Knights are completely useless at the moment, and they will tailor their list accordingly. Because I've played 6 games in this edition now with my Grey Knights. I've tailored different lists, and I've won 3 of them, which has been great. And the other 3 I got absolutely annihilated. The 3 I won, I should really start doing battle reports. I'd love to start doing those. But the 3 I won were very close and kind of on technicalities. I'm talking, you know, a single paladin ancient standing on top of a command point. I mean, playing too much Dawn of War. Standing on top of a point scoring objective at the end of a game. Aside from that, the points differential in the game at the moment, it's not good enough for the way that Grey Knights are actually presented in the rules. They're still far too expensive for what they are. If you come across something like, say, Custodes, as I was saying before, I'm not saying Grey Knights should be as powerful as Custodes, of course, that's not what I'm saying, because Custodes are known to be more powerful than Space Marines, that's not a problem, but Grey Knights should be able to hold their own against Thousand Suns, at least psychically. At the moment, absolutely no chance whatsoever of that happening. We got a slight point reduction. We didn't get a big point reduction, like I said we should have done. We didn't get any special rules to make up for the fact that our units just aren't very good at the moment. We didn't get any of that. We didn't get any of our upgrades that we wanted. Anything that we wanted from our weaponry or from any of our psychic powers. We didn't get upgraded any of our smite. Our smite is still absolute codswallop. It's still rubbish. You know, if you have a 2,000 point army of Grey Knights up against Thousand Suns, I'm telling you now, the Thousand Suns will just laugh at the Grey Knights at this point and just absolutely steamroll them. There's literally nothing we can do about it at this point. I did have a question from a subscriber in our last video. Let me just duke it up here. This is what I do on this channel, by the way. It's very raw. I just come on here and record my thoughts. The minute this channel starts making any money for me, that's when you'll start seeing really big production values. But What was it? Ah, the Nexo Project Nexo. There you go. I no idea why you put your name twice in your name, but there you go. He was asking what kind of custodes units I was talking about when I said they were more powerful on the whole than Grey Knights. Well, to be honest with you, all of them, all of the custodes. Let me just get their. I actually have their digital codex here. Let me just get it up for you. So, right, okay, so I was actually referring to the Alarus Terminators. Alarus, A-L-L-A-R-U-S, Alarus Terminators. They are absolutely astonishingly good. They are fantastic. In fact, they are what Terminators should be across the board, minus psychic powers, of course. They are exactly what Terminators should be across the board. All Space Marine Terminators should look like this when they're on the battlefield. For their points cost, they are absolutely deadly, and you know they're a must in any Custodes army. They're an absolute must, and they wipe the floor with Grey Knight Paladins in terms of the stat line. From what I'm seeing is correct, they're only slightly above points wise than a Grey Knight Paladin, which is effing ridiculous. I'm just gonna double check that because I only checked it a couple of days ago, but sometimes you can get things wrong, which is unfortunate. A 13 power, that's cool. There we go. Yeah, so a unit of a 3-man unit of Alarus Custodians is 13 power, so I'm going off power at this point. And a 3-man unit of Grey Knight Paladins is 10 power. So for the extra 3 power, I tell you what, you have, as an Alarus Custodian, you have 6 inches movement, you have 2+ weapon skill, 2+ ballistic skill, strength and toughness of 5, 4 wounds, 4 attacks, and 9 leadership, and a 2+ save. Okay? Right. Let's compare that to the old Grey Knight Paladin, shall we? So, Grey Knight Paladins have a 5-inch move, no idea why. They have a 3+ ballistic skill, a 3+ weapon skill, a 4 strength, a 4 toughness, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, 8 leadership, and a 2+ save. You cannot tell me that one unit is worth only 3 power more than a Paladin, than your other unit. You cannot tell me that is in any way fair, in any way, shape, or form. Now, that's before we even get into psychic powers and before we even get into weaponry. I think what Games Workshop have done is they've wholly overestimated the power of Grey Knight psychic powers in this game at the moment. We are way underpowered. Even Vortex of Doom hardly does a thing against people, which is meant to be our big signature power. It does hardly anything. And you look at all the other people like Thousand Suns, they wipe the floor with Grey Knights at what they're supposed to be good at. I'm not saying Grey Knights should beat Thousand Suns, but what I am saying is Grey Knights should stand up to Thousand Suns, at least stand up to them and give them a fight. I honestly think Thousand Suns, if you have lots of sorcerers in your army, you should be beating Grey Knights on a psychic level. I've got no problem with that at all. What I'm saying is that the Grey Knights should be putting up a fight against you. If you're a Thousand Suns player and you see somebody unloading Grey Knights out of their case across the table from you, you should have a wince. You should go, oof, that's going to be hard. This is going to be a tough one. At the moment, people get Grey Knights out of their box and people start rubbing their fucking hands together. Because as I've just said there, I'm not going to put any of the pages up on the screen because I don't want to get. I think I've annoyed Games Workshop enough with some of my videos, but you know, the Alarus Custodians at the moment are incredibly good, and you know, when you look at things like the grenade launchers that they have, the fact that their spears can shoot and are better across the board than their Grey Knight weaponry, are far more reliable with their 2 damage. You know, I honestly have to say, in response to your question, if you're going to go for a Grey Knight-like army at the moment, go for Custodians. And just paint them silver to annoy everyone. And just say the Grey Knights. Because at the moment, yeah, they are absolutely fantastic. And Do you know what? If I might do this month, I might not. But I was actually considering picking up some custodians to throw into my Grey Knight force to give them some extra backbone. I said I wouldn't do that to my force. I said I would keep it pure Grey Knights. That's what I wanted to do. That was my vision for the army, that they were all swordsmen and they were all, you know, knights basically, you know. But to be competitive, I think I'm going to have to introduce some heavier units in there that are actually worth the expenditure in terms of points or power. So nothing really has changed for us. Things have gotten cheaper across the board, which is great. Thank you, GW, for that. But at the same time, it doesn't make them playable. Grey Knights are still a bottom feeder of an army at the moment. And yeah, I sound passionate. That's what I am. I love Grey Knights, and you know, I think they've gotten a real kick in the balls over the past couple of editions. To be honest with you, I think 7th edition was probably the sweet spot where, yes, they were nowhere near as powerful as they should have been because of the lore and because of how powerful other armies were, but they were still very competitive on the battlefield. So I think that was the sweet spot. Now, that should be the sweet spot for every army. Every army should be able to beat any other army. It should be down to the player's skill and how they build their lists. Is how battles are decided. But unfortunately, at the moment, Grey Knights are sadly neglected, and I was hoping Chapter Approved would fix that. It hasn't. It really hasn't, guys. And I would still recommend you go and out and get Grey Knights. They're a beautiful army to collect. They're so easy to paint. They look absolutely gorgeous on the battlefield, and I would never change. I don't think I'm ever going to change. I'm always going to be a primarily Grey Knights player. That's just how I like playing. I would just like to play how I used to. I would just like to play how I did in 7th, and that's not me saying, you know, I hear this all the time about all the boo boys saying, oh well, you know, all the old timers are being annoyed about, you know, 8th edition and all that. I think 8th edition is a fantastic set of rules. I really do, and I think most of the newer codexes are absolutely fantastic, and they should be that powerful. I completely agree that, you know, Imperial Guard should be that powerful. I completely agree that Eldar should be that powerful as well. What I would like is for that love to be spread around a little bit to Necrons as well. Necrons are an absolute shit show at the moment. In fact, one of the only games that I've won convincingly with new Grey Knights was against Necrons. And those poor suckers, let me tell you, like, if you're a Necron player, my heart absolutely goes out to you at the moment. But unfortunately, Grey Knights are almost right there with you. We're not good at the moment. We're not holding our ground, and things aren't going to change from here. We've got a long, long way to go till Chapter Approved 2019, and this is our big chance to get something back on the board, to actually, you know, have a place at the table with 8th edition, and you know, we absolutely don't have one at the moment, which is a shame. But I guess it also goes into, you know, actually having friends who understand that as well. Yeah, I say at least 50% of our hobby is choosing your opponent. It really is, and which is why I don't really play in tournaments. Yeah, it's just not a side of the game that I'm interested in. I know other people are. That's fantastic. All good for them. But it's just not part of the game that I'm interested in. I'm not that competitive in terms of 40k. I'm really competitive in terms of other things, video games, for example. But 40k, no. There's too many things that can go wrong. The dice gods can take a shit on you from a great height at any time, so there's just no point in getting that worked up about it. So, but at the same time, I would like to come on the battlefield and actually have a chance at winning on occasion. But that's pretty much my thoughts on the Chapter Approved Grey Knights. Again, I don't go into too much detail on the channel. I mean, I will do if I get requests to do so. I will go through codexes, sod, you know, being in trouble with Games Workshop. I'll go through codexes page by page. I have most of them, so I have no problem doing that. And just a quick update on the channel as well. There will be more, a lot more content coming out. There are 2 role-playing campaigns in the works at the moment. One of them is set in stone. The other one, the setting is slightly changing a little bit. Not quite sure what to do with it. But one of them will definitely be out on that, and there will be news on that one out soon. And the second part of that is that there will actually be a historical teaching series coming on the channel as well, focusing on the Roman Empire, starting with the Roman Republic and going all the way through ancient Rome. And we'll be using Rome 2 Total War to teach that as well. Again, if any of you know my background, I have a degree and a master's in ancient history and classics. So I'll be going to back to school, back to university to learn how to teach that as a subject come September. So it's going to be awesome. But for now, I'm just going to leave you with, just my tears, my big manly tears over my army not being able to do very much in a game that costs far too much money. So there you are. Thanks very much for watching, guys. And it's the reaction to some of my videos also has been absolutely humbling as well. I never expected to have hundreds of people watching these videos, and that's awesome. I'm not even kidding you. It's an absolute honour to have people watching me and actually responding to my videos. So thank you very much. If you're one of the people who've been doing that, it's great to hear my phone go off sometimes, and I just know it's one of you guys. Even if I'm in work and I can't reply, I'm like, oh great, and sometimes I forget, as you know. But I'm going to stay on top of that from now on. Now that things have calmed down a little bit. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.